Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine and Real Estate. And I'm excited today. If you're tuning in, a video, not just audio, you'll see I have a new background. So I'm actually at an Airbnb because I am homeless now in Canada. So I sold my house today. I just signed the documents, and that's it for me for Canadian housing for myself. And I'm drinking some wine alone, but my wife will be joining me in the next few episodes. Jennifer is retiring in 2 weeks at the time of this recording, so we're both retired from real estate. And of course, I have an awesome guest. So Kim is joining us from beautiful Ottawa. So unfortunately, sadly, I'm leaving Ottawa, but I will visit again as a tourist. And I'm excited to hear about Kim's story. So the reason I chose Kim is she's got a great story to tell. I'll let her say it, but she's got some great initiatives. And also what I like is she's newer to this business. So I get a lot of requests. Okay, we need somebody that's starting out or recent. Like this international investing is not for everybody. So what I do is maybe a bit more advanced at this time, but I'm excited to hear about Kim. So Kim, welcome, and let's have a drink first. What are you drinking?
Yes. Prosecco, actually. I've got the bottle here, if you can read it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a connoisseur of Prosecco. I love it.
Well, I just started drinking it. I was at a land development boot camp out in Victoria in the beginning of June, and that was one of the beverages that was offered. And I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And it's become my new go-to wine. I quite like it. It's makes me feel like I'm special with all the bubblies, and so I'm glad to join you today in a festive drink.
Cheers. Yes, let's drink to that. I'm having it's a Greek wine. So whoops, I'm not can't hold it very well, but Nausa, and it's just at LCBO. So Zino Mavro. It kind of tastes like a Pinot Noir. So if you're a Pinot Noir drinker, very light, because we'll have to, anyway, at the time of this recording, it's kind of mid-afternoon on a weekday, so I can't have something too heavy.
True. Yeah.
And Kim, you are special. So the wine does make you feel special, but you are special. I believe everybody has something in them that is special. So you don't need wine to be that, but yes, if the wine adds on, for sure, that's fine.
Oh, thank you, François. That's sweet. So tell us about yourself. You want me to talk?
Yeah. So who is Kim? Kim Lackey. I see a nice background. So tell us more. Like, why real estate? Don't you have a good job, or what's the motivation?
So I'm coming close to where you guys are now, and been in a job for 25 years plus. I've traveled around with that job, and we settled in Ottawa about in 2006. We did live in Orleans, but we moved out to Barrhaven about 12 years ago. I had triplets.
Oh, wow.
So, so that was the big move from Northwest Territories to Ottawa, and now they're 17. I'm coming to the close of my career. I think I got a couple more years left, but I think it was during COVID that I was kind of, working from home. The kids are doing schooling, and I never wanted to be the mother that just cared for the house. It was not something I wanted to do. So I said, what is it that I want to do? And it's like Facebook knows what you're thinking sometimes.
It does. It's a mind reader.
It's kind of scary in a way, but this time I was pleasantly surprised to have some advertising for another real estate group. And I ended up joining them, and I haven't looked back. It's I always knew that there was something in real estate. Through the purchases of our current house, I knew it was going to be an investment. It wasn't going to be our forever home. But I couldn't really put into words what I was feeling and kind of knowing in my head until the time I started taking some education. I started off with using my RSPs because it was the quickest way to get involved, and something that I could do online. And so I did that. I invested in a land development group out in southern Ontario. That was a 5-year commitment. So that's still ongoing. The other investments, I had put it into a RIT. It did very well for me for about 2 years. And just last year, I decided that I wanted to get a bit more active with
Yeah.
um, in just not sitting. So over the 2 years, I made some friendships and some connections, and it was through those that I am invested in some land development and construction out in Victoria, BC. And so in June, I was able to go there and see what they're doing, and it was very exciting to hear their story and feel like I was a part of it. And I did. Um, Prior to that, I had bought a rental house in Cornwall, and due to COVID and my husband getting a new job, the plan to go and renovate it together didn't come to fruition. So it
Oh
was up
no.
to me. It was up to me to go and do it and get everything done. And I'm not one to shy away from hard work. Um, I
How bad
had
was
some.
it?
It was ripping up floors, taking apart the kitchen. It was
Okay.
an older home. Had some stairs that had that old linoleum, with the glue on
Oh,
the back. So that was a bit of a chore getting that off.
labor of love.
Yeah. And my daughter came with me and we were trying to paint one of the bedroom closets and it had an angle to it. And it was after 3 hours of trying to paint a closet that I'm like, yeah, no, I think I gotta hire somebody. Yeah, we had paint everywhere and we certainly didn't make any progress. So I was able to get some contractors in for that. But most of the work I did myself. Went to
Amazing.
IKEA, got the closets, did the flooring. It was very labor intensive, and I'm not a young chicken anymore. I do have some back and neck issues,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, it took a lot out of me. There was a time I think I had to just put it to bed for about 4 months or 4 weeks just to get my body back
Recovery.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took a lot longer than what we expected, but I was very happy with the results. And so we've had tenants in it for just over 8 months, and
Wow.
it's doing quite well. Um, so lately I've been looking at land development. I've been taking some coaching in regards to that, and that was one of the reasons for taking the boot camp in June. I do have a lady that we're talking about a partnership and doing a corporation and actually getting started. How soon that's going to happen, we'll have to wait and see. But we're um, definitely making roads to that and making some networking events, which has been a lot of fun getting to know people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just
that's
before
that's it
coming
in a
on there.
nutshell.
Wow, that's you've done a lot, I mean, and quite a change from being passive to ripping out flooring and being covered in paint and kind of
Yeah,
pivoting too, if your husband was involved now, he's not able to help due to different circumstances. So that those
yeah.
are great skills that you learned along the way, and that's exciting. Before we came on air, you were talking about networking.
Hmm.
You were looking for something and you did something on your own. I'd love for you to tell my audience what that is because I think it's very inspirational.
Oh, yeah. So over the course of, um, I guess, the beginning of January, I was starting to feel I was just getting into my groove, I guess, for not being so shy to talk about what I was interested in. And it's almost like um, a light went on, and I'm an introvert by nature, and but I can be very engaging if I'm passionate about something. And so I found real estate was doing that, but I wasn't really getting to know people. And
Yeah.
doing it on Zoom over the last however many years we were connecting that way wasn't giving me what I needed, which was connection. Couldn't really find anything in Ottawa. So I started my own group. I invited some ladies that would, at different levels in their journey of real estate investing, at different levels in where they were in life. And I was meeting some people with another group and blending with some other groups, and then just people in general that do real estate as a job, realtors and that kind of thing. So about 5 months ago, I started Fusion of Friendships, and I started reaching out and really got a little bit more in tune with how Facebook works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think I'm gonna have to engage my daughter on how to do Instagram because I just don't have time to figure it out, and maybe she can help me to do that. But we meet once a month. Um, it's more of a meet and greet, very informal. Started at a bar close to town. It was kind of a bar restaurant, but I was really finding that the conversations we were having maybe should have been a bit more on the private side. And
Oh,
I
yes.
think, yeah, so, and then just allowing people to be able to talk at, however speed they wanted rather than being interrupted with staff and bills and food and that kind of thing. So I started having them at my house, and we're actually meeting tonight
Oh, wow.
for, yeah. So my girlfriend, Danya Kaloum, is helping me to provide some interest in just different activities that we can do that aren't necessarily real estate driven, but certainly business driven and mindset, and allowing some of those other important avenues of sharing, whether it's real estate or just life and that kind of thing. So it's just a friendships connection. And last month we had about 12 people.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
inspirational because in 2023, things are not like I never say it right because English is my second or third language now.
Mm.
Compartmentalized, like it's not cookie cutter. You can't keep everything in one box. I
Mm-hmm.
find now you mix in like friendship and work and investments, and that's how you connect with people on a deeper level. Like when
Yeah.
I host events, I do some fun things. It's not just real estate because really, yeah, we care about the buildings, but it's way more than that. Like, let's be honest, it's creating wealth for what reason? Not the building itself, it's the vehicle. So that's amazing. I saw some of your
Yeah.
activities. It looks like fun, like a henna night, and I forget what
Yes.
the others were, but it looks really different. So if you're an
Yeah.
introvert or you're concerned, that's a nice group too. 12 people. It's not overwhelming like 400 people. And what do you
Yeah.
say? What do you do? So that's amazing.
Yeah.
What are
I
you
mean,
doing
400
tonight?
people, maybe that would be a whole other event for sure.
You need a bigger
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So what are you
yeah,
doing tonight?
um Jonya's got these three questions. They're very simplistic. You have to come up with very general things. I don't want to spoil it for those that are
Oh,
coming,
okay.
um, but there's,
Icebreaker.
yes, and it's you kind of divulge what your why is, and then from your answers, there's some, um, I guess, explanation as to why you would consider those answers. So it's a bit of an eye opener. It's definitely an icebreaker for sure. And we're not talking about in-depth personal stuff. It's very general in nature, and hopefully the ladies will enjoy it. Next month, we're having a fashion stylist come. I
Nice.
met her at one of your events actually a couple
Oh, wow,
months
cool.
ago. And so she's agreed to come and just give us some tips on how to present ourselves with business, or, work on our outer health, which I thought
Yeah.
was kind of cool on her website. And then in tagging on that, we're going to ask ladies to go back home, look at their closets, and see what they could donate. I know for me, I'm not wearing as many business type clothes. Our office is very casual at this point. So if I can donate that to Dress for Success, it's for women that
Yes.
need to get into business and don't have a lot of support or cash to go and make those things happen. This group is here in Ottawa, and we'll collect some of the donations and go and support some of the ladies in their endeavors going forward.
That's amazing. I love it because that's another question I get from listeners is, "Oh, there's no networking where I live, or it's a smaller town, smaller city." Start your own and
Yes.
also give back. So you started your own networking event. It's very different, which is nice. So people can't say, "Oh, I've heard this before." No, you have not.
Yeah.
This is unique, and you're giving back to the community. And I find this whole real estate community is all about giving back. That's kind of why I host this podcast. I want to feature people and help promote different businesses, entrepreneurs, and
Mhm.
investors. And then, yeah, women starting out in business, maybe they have lesser means. It's not easy because you're judged quite a bit by your appearance, how you dress, if you're going for interviews, things like that. So that is
Yes.
very important. Great
Mhm.
advice.
Yeah. So I look forward to those. Not sure what we're going to have after that, but tonight's the first one, or probably our fifth one. Next month it's September 11th, and then October 16th, and they're
Wow.
always on a Monday at 7 o'clock at my residence. So
So check out
um,
Kim Lackey. Do you have a
yeah,
Facebook page or group for this?
it's Kim Lackey Investments. I post on there. I do have a smaller kind of private group as well. It's just a matter of ease for me to post to all the ladies that have come before. It's not really exclusive. It's just an ease for me to do an email blast. It's better on Facebook. But certainly bring a friend if you find somebody else that may just want to have some friendships. I have a girlfriend that comes that doesn't do real estate right now, but she's certainly having some good conversations with the ladies that are here. So
Good.
it's an
Yeah, and
open door.
we need those people too. Like just like yourself, you started out, you said more passive. Sometimes
Hmm.
you're not ready, but then something happens. I was at a networking event not long ago, and somebody told me about terrible divorce. It's quite unfortunate, but that turned a light bulb on, in her mind. Like the person who was talking to me, she said, I went through a bad divorce and I realized I was quite dependent on my husband's income and things like that. She's like, that's it, no more. Now I'm a businesswoman, and it just kind of
Awesome.
propelled her. So it's unfortunate they had to go through the divorce. But anyway, I'm glad for her that it turned out
Yeah.
well. And you never know
Yeah.
what's going to light it up. So,
Well, like they say, one door closes, there's always another one that opens up for you that you probably never even thought you'd do.
no, that's it. Same for
Yeah.
me. Like real estate. If you know my story at all, I started out because my mom needed an apartment. My dad passed away, and my mom's
Mhm.
like, I don't want to stay in the house. I want to rent somewhere, but keep my house. So she was an inspiration, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna buy a place, and you're gonna become my tenant. And
Mhm.
anyway, that's history now. But yeah, my mom was my inspiration, I guess, my muse on it, which is
That's
funny, in
great.
my first tenant. So unfortunately, I don't advise on renting to your mom as a tenant. She was a little picky, but I still love my mom.
Yeah, of course, the family's always different to deal with, but, yeah,
There's pros
it
and
it
cons.
broke it broke you in for those difficult tenants
Yeah,
going
yeah,
forward.
now I kinda knew
Yeah,
what to expect, but I always got rent
yeah,
on time, so that's one thing, is rent
yeah,
was always paid. It's more the
mhm,
other items. It prepared me for short-term rentals, the same level of, requirements.
awesome,
But so what's
great,
next
yeah,
for you, Kim? Now you've got a few investments, you're looking at land development, you've got networking. So what's
yes.
planned for, well, we're past the midpoint of 2023, the last kind of quarter of the year?
Yeah, so taking some things off my plate that, I'm maybe s you know, I could do myself, but I'm not very proficient at it. And in talking to one lady, it's like the 80-20 rule, like 80% of what I want to do is what I'm passionate about.
Yes.
And the other 20%, yeah, like it bogs me down. And I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it. So I been working to offload some of that stuff, and you've been an inspiration for that too. So even though we've only met in person once, I've been following you for a while, and I feel like I know a little bit about you and what you're, how you inspire people. So um,
Thank you.
with the new business that you have with Charmy, it's been great. I have no complaints whatsoever.
Good.
Um, so I've been doing that, building up my websites so that they're a little bit more automatic and not so manual with contacts coming in. That
Yeah.
I can kind of streamline that a bit. And then once I get the systems going, then it'll be more time spent on Ottawa's bylaws, what's required
Yeah.
for purchasing and expanding on that, and working with a coach in September going forward. So it's coming. It's a little bit more intricate on the strategy that you have to use for land development, but it's something that I can picture myself doing years ago, driving by open land and going, "Oh, that would be really cool to have that there," or "That's a nice piece of property. You could put a little, tiny home in there and just have your peace and quiet and privacy." So yeah, it's always kind of been there, but the steps to kind of learning what's required is where I'm at right now.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I love the delegation part. So who inspired me is Sarah Larby. You may know Sarah, but
yeah, a
she
little bit. Yeah.
delegates. She should rename herself the delegation queen. 'Cause she outsources her grocery shopping, her housekeeping, bookkeeping,
Yeah.
her cars, so people come to her place and do the maintenance, everything. She doesn't not that she
I
doesn't do
did I
anything, but
did get a housekeeper. So
there you
I
go.
used yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
seriously, because you don't add value by cleaning and unless you enjoy
Yeah.
it. We had a housekeeper, but I'm too picky, even though the books here are disheveled and stuff, it's not my house, so but I'm too picky, so I couldn't delegate. I'm like, "No, I actually kinda enjoy dusting and, doing dishes, I find it relaxing," but if it's not your thing and it doesn't add to your life other than
I also
headaches, then get rid of
I
it.
also found it was a distraction. Like
Yes.
you, I'm probably a little picky on where things need to be or how it looks, and it was a bit of a procrastination because
It's a
sitting
good
down
excuse.
and learning something, even though it's something I want to do, it takes a mindset to sit down and actually dedicate some time. So I'm working on that too.
It does, and it's important you mention working with a mentor as well. You should
Mhm.
always be investing in a mentor of some kind, and you'll notice, and you've already mentioned a few things like a program and different things. As you grow, you kinda change. At first, it was more passive. Now you're in land
Yeah.
development, which is a lot more active. That's not
Hmm.
passive. People think it's very passive. It's a lot more work.
Yeah. Yeah. You may be moving a lot more paper if
Yes.
you're in one portion of it, or you may be the one that goes to the sites and actually works for the contractors. Like there's very varying levels of how you want to be invested in that kind of development strategy. So yeah.
And where do you see the opportunities right now in Ottawa? Because I know this city here is kind of it's on the verge of something like really big. We've got transit. I know there's issues, but it's still there. Like once it's up and fully running, it's gonna transform the city, and there's a lot more going on as well.
Yeah, I think Ottawa has a lot of the older homes with large properties,
Yeah.
so um, I've been to a couple construction sites where that's what they're doing, adding fourplexes or even an eightplex. And then further out, I'm in Barrhaven, it's grown so much. We've had so much density with new construction, but there's still some homes out here when it was rural that are on 2 acres or
Wow.
acre and
In
a half
town.
in town. So, those are being looked at too. So there is some room for development. I know the city's coming out with some new bylaws, so we'll see what that provides. Because I invested in Cornwall initially, they're also doing stuff out in Cornwall. It's a little bit
Yeah.
cheaper, but they're desperate for housing and affordable housing as well. So that would kind of work into the mix with the MLI Select, what they're providing for
Yeah,
mortgages.
that's it. A lot
So
of people discount the more affordable housing. They think, oh, it's not for me, but there's a big opportunity. Sometimes you can do a mix. It doesn't have to be all affordable housing. Like you can do a
yeah,
variety, or just if you get the land or the financing at the right price, it can work. So yeah, I love Cornwall.
yeah,
That was my second investment city. So in the town where I grew up for my mom, then Cornwall, and I think it's a nice
interesting.
place with the 401, the American border, lots of opportunities there.
Yeah, there's some big things coming out there, and yeah, the city's quite open to sitting and having conversations about what you're wanting and how that works in with their plans.
Which is great.
So,
That's what you want. So some
hmm
cities are more closed. Ottawa, I think we have the right team now in place. It's a bit more open than it was. You'll have to tell me how it unfolds, but I think yeah,
yeah,
now we're poised for a bit more change and growth, and the provincial government as well with the strong
yeah,
mayors, whether you're for or against it. I think there's something to be said. I mean, we've now passed 1 million people, so we're a big chunk of Ontario, and
yeah,
really, if people from Toronto telling us what to do doesn't make sense. We live in a different
no,
reality. This is not Toronto. It's not Southern Ontario.
no,
Ottawa has its very own flavor and different wants and needs and aspirations too.
exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, Kim, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and find out more, what's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me at kim.lackey at outlook.com. There's also my website at kimlackeyinvestments.com as well. So either way is good. Yeah, just look me up.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's have another little drink. Your prosecco, the
Yes.
bubbles, you don't want to lose
Yeah.
them.
Nope.
Well, cheers. And it was a pleasure. I can't
Cheers.
wait to find out maybe in a year what you're up to. We'll have to get an update on what's happening, if you've done some land development and any new
Yeah.
projects and your networking events as well. What's next? Maybe you're getting tattooed or something.
I already got one. Maybe I'll get another.
Yeah, there you go. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, François. I enjoyed this.
Thank you. It was a pleasure and take care.
Okay. Bye bye.
Cheers.